Hi, Seth.
How are you?
Good. How are you? Am I pronouncing your name
Um,
correctly?
yeah, you're pronouncing it correctly.
Okay, cool. Um, Sorry, give me 1 second. Let me shut my window. I'm getting some. Cool. Yes, Seth, thank you so much for joining us today. Before we get started, I just want to confirm, do you use a screen reader?
Yeah, I use a screen reader and I use NVDA.
NVIDIA? NVIDIA?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can you briefly describe what NVIDIA is?
So NVDA is a screen reader which helps me in most of my tasks because I do a lot of online reading and studying and also a lot of online work. So I use NVDA especially when I cannot like read the websites and navigate them quite easily on my own, and it helps me, a lot.
Yeah. Okay, great. Um, and how long have you been using a screen reader?
So I'd say like for a month now.
A month? Okay. What made you feel the need or want to start using a screen reader?
I've been having like eyesight problems. I have moderate low vision.
Uh huh.
So I decided to use it when I started. There's sometimes when my eye problem becomes quite serious, and I can't do work normally. So I decided that maybe it's time I started out using a screen reader.
Yeah. So you're using a screen reader when you're like on the computer, I assume.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you use one when you're on mobile as well?
No, I don't. I don't use it when I'm on mobile, because normally I use my computer a lot during work. My
Hmm.
mobile phone is mostly just engaging in social media and stuff like that. But now when
Gotcha.
it comes to work, I have to use like a screen reader.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you? How frequently are you using it? Are you using it like all day, or only on certain occasions, or?
I'd say on certain occasions, I won't say all day, because I do have an eyesight problem. I can't say it's that serious.
uh
Um, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Did you use screen reader when you were like doing the onboarding for this session? Like when it was checking for the
Y-
webcam, microphone?
Yeah, I had to use a screen reader.
Okay. What do you think about that
Yeah.
process?
Say that the process was quite easy. The screen reader just makes it quite easier, because it just says out loud whatever you're doing step by step, so you don't have to strain a lot trying to use your own eyesight. So I'd say that it made the process quite easier.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Great. Yeah. So for the purpose of this study, the purpose of this study is to have some questions and tasks for you where we want to learn about how um, people who use screen readers interact with certain websites. But we also want to understand if our platform, like the current one that we're using right now, to have this conversation, is accessible, especially for people with low vision or total blindness. So
Okay. Okay.
any feedback that you have about that could be will be very helpful. So just keep that in mind as we go through the session, please.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you now to share your screen. So you're going to get a prompt.
So let me share it.
Choose what to share dial www.userly take entire screen tab control entire screen property page www.tix.com is sharing your screen.
Okay, what do you think about
Have
that?
you seen it? uh it was quite easy, as I just said, because now the screen reader just it reads out everything. I don't have a lot. yeah, so I'd say that it was.
Okay. I'm going to ask you now to launch the script. So you'll receive another prompt.
Start.
Okay.
Start.
Let me-
Live conversations userly text document. Moderator cam.
Okay.
So
Remember to speak your thoughts out loud as you interact with the web. Please read the following instructions out loud.
okay, so speak your thoughts out loud as you interact with the website or mobile app. Know if you understand or that appears confusing to you. If you cannot find or do not understand certain aspects of the, please clearly explain out loud or what could be changed to improve it. And then
To complete this study, you will need to use a screen reader. If you do not, you'll be approved. Next.
I'm gonna click on next.
Frame
So
clickable button unavailable.
Okay, it's fine. So what do you think about the
Sorry.
size of the text here?
I say that the size is quite large, but I have a problem with the texture. It's not quite bright to see it. So I feel like if
What are
you
you
guys
referring
could
to?
just like,
Feel you've completed this
excuse me,
task or fully attempt.
Which part are you referring
Click
to?
next.
I'm referring to like for
How
example
would the
these
design? What
questions here,
features would this website have?
question 1 and question 2.
How would the design and when you
You
feel
know,
you've completed this
Uh-huh.
task or fully attempted it?
so all this
When
part,
you
all
feel you've
this,
completed this
all
task
these statements
or
here
fully
could have been
attempted it,
written
please click on next.
in bold type. Like instead of just highlighting only, like you're trying this statement trying to develop a website that is very accessible to the visually impaired users, like all of it, the whole of these statements or the whole contents of activity 2 out of 20 will have been highlighted.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, there are certain parts of this question that are bolded, and then most of it isn't bolded.
Uh-huh.
So you're saying you want the entire thing to be bolded, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. So moving on to this activity that we're seeing right here in front of us. So let's imagine that you're a designer and you're trying to develop a website that is accessible to visually impaired users. With this in
Uh-huh.
mind, what features would you want this website to have?
I'd say that I just said it, the previous point that I'd said about the bolding,
Uh-huh.
and I'd also maybe use like larger fonts. Like a larger font will be also will also come quite handy during this process.
You said other
About the
font?
color, yeah, I'd say a larger font.
Okay.
Yeah, and also what else? What else? I see that the color is quite good, but maybe I feel like only those two things is what I would have changed if maybe I was designing this website.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So you said the colors used on this current tool is good. What would make it bad? What would bad look like?
I'd say that, like a black and white contrast quite well. But now if you put some other color, maybe yellow,
Uh-huh.
yellow and white wouldn't have, contrasted quite well. So that's why I feel like it was a good job done by the people who designed it. Just putting white and black provided the contrast that was needed.
Gotcha. Okay, great. Go ahead and click the next button, please.
Okay, so I'm gonna click on the next button.
Next. Clickable button unavailable out of frame 08.
So having in mind features that
Having in mind features that could lead a user with a visual impairment to have a positive or negative experience, Please answer the following out loud. What types of things would you say are the most difficult to shop for online because of the impairment? Please explain your answer. What types of things would you say are the please easiest?
So, what type of things would you say are the most difficult to shop for online because of the impairment? Please explain your answer. So, I'd say that most of the things are quite easy to shop for online.
Mhm.
But I can't quite understand this question. It is a vague question. Um, but I'd say that I find most of the things easy to shop online, and I would also say that uh, something would be difficult to shop for online depending on the navigation of the website. If the website is difficult to navigate or it has many processes that are not like easy for somebody to understand, then that thing would be difficult to shop for online.
Gotcha.
And the easiest ones, I'd also say it depends on the website. Really, I don't have like an answer. You know,
Okay. So if I'm understanding
when
you
you feel
correctly, it has more to do with like just the overall usability of the website and not anything specific to that, like a visual impairment for you.
yeah, I'd say that because some of the websites that I come across, are easy to navigate. The places where you can enlarge the font. They have and that makes it easy basically to just go through it. They have some keyboard shortcuts. They have like the descriptive that, so it makes the process quite easy. And then
Okay.
other ones, on the other hand, they don't have most of that stuff, so it's difficult.
Okay. Gotcha. Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead and click on the next button, please.
When you feel you've completed this task, frame clickable button unavailable out of frame 11.
Um, what would you say are example of accessible websites? Please explain your answer and
Not at once. Please explain your answer.
not accessible ones. So I'd say an example of an accessible website will be a website which has, like pages, like has headings and titles. Like the pages have headings and titles. You can just go through it. You can just skim through it and get an overview of what it entails. And are not accessible ones, I'd say that a website that is quite vague. It doesn't offer a lot of description on it, which makes the confusing for somebody who has eyesight problems, and one which also does not have keyboard shortcuts. So, have I answered the questions correctly, sir?
Yeah. Yeah. Very helpful feedback. Thank you. So go ahead and click on next.
When you feel you've completed this task, frame clickable button unavailable out of frame 12.
So,
When you feel you've completed this task, if you could give advice to companies on how to make their websites more accessible, what would you say?
if I could give companies advice to make their websites more accessible, I would tell them that they should go out of their own ways and try to make it the web uh, accessible to everyone, regardless of their disability. So we know that a small majority of people have eyesight problems, but they still do matter, in the market, because maybe a prospect or a customer might end up not, signing up on your website just because it wasn't easy to navigate. So I tell them maybe to uh, keep in mind things like color contrast, and then their interface. They should not put a lot. They should limit color maybe in their interfaces. That will make things like links to be quite easily accessible for users. They should also have keyboard shortcuts. And also for people like us who use screen readers, they should have al- al- well, like an alternative description to the images or pictures, because a screen reader just goes through an image, but it should be able to tell you what the image is about. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I feel like some of these things are what companies should keep in mind to make websites more accessible, because there's also a small percentage of people in the population who have eyesight problems, and they also need to access the same services equally.
Can you recall a specific website that you visited that has really good alternative descriptions for their images or pictures?
I'd say a website like AT&T.
Okay.
Yeah. So they have a lot of blue color and white, and then there are also some. Yeah, it's good. They did a good job in designing it. That's what I'd say.
Can you think of an example of a website that had no alternate descriptions or just poor ones?
I'd say that is it Warcraft, and they have a website. So I decided to go and like purchase some of the latest games and all that.
Hmm.
The website was it was played. It wasn't quite easy to even find the product that I was. So I ended up being disappointed, and yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So go ahead and click on the next button, please.
Frame clickable button unavailable out of frame 15.
So best, what is it? Let me.
Based on your personal experience with a visual impairment, how easy or difficult would you find most websites to browse?
I'd say
Based on your personal experience, 1 very difficult, 2 4 easy, 5 very easy, 4 easy,
let me say easy.
4 easy. Radio button checked 4 of 5.
What do you think about the options presented there, like the very difficult, difficult, neutral? Like, how difficult or
Uh,
easy is it to read?
to read what? To read the options.
Yeah.
I'd say that it was quite easy. Like I feel like the options have
2
been
1 very
like
difficult,
the options have been written in a darker color than the question itself.
based on your personal experience with a
So,
visual
and then
impairment,
also the screen
how
reader
easy
helps
or
me
difficult would you say
in
you
doing
find most websites to browse?
this process.
Okay. Great. Go ahead and click next, please.
Next. Button unavailable out of frame 17.
So, based on your personal experience with visual impairments, is it?
Based on your personal experience with a visual impairment, please select which of the following options you'd agree with the most. Most websites are not accessible to people with visual impairments. Some of the websites are not accessible to people with visual impairments. Most websites are accessible to people with visual impairments.
So,
Some of the
I
websites
have a
are not
question, sir.
accessible to people with
Mhm.
visual impairments.
So, when you say visual impairment, is it general? I mean, when you say visual impairment, I think about a lot of stuff. There's low vision, there's partial blindness, and then there's total blindness.
Right.
You know,
Hmm.
so I feel like you guys could have specified the question more. Like,
Yeah.
and maybe break it down and say maybe for people with low vision and
Hmm.
or blindness, into
Yeah.
sections like that.
Yeah.
But
So
for this question,
I was gonna say, yeah, you bring up a good point. I was just gonna say for this question, just think of it in general or as it applies to you.
and then I'd say that what is it?
Most websites are accessible to people. Some of the websites are not accessible to people with visual impairments.
Let me say this because
Most websites are accessible to people with visual impairments.
let me say this because I'm keeping in mind like people who have total blindness, you know.
Mhm.
So I'd say some are not accessible to people with visual impairment just because of them.
Gotcha. Okay.
Next.
Should I click next?
Yes, please.
Button unavailable out of frame 19. Based on your personal experience with a visual impairment, please rate the extent at which you disagree or agree with the following statement. Please explain your reasoning out loud. Based on your personal experience, I'd refrain from purchasing something that I really like from a brand if I don't find the website accessible enough for my needs. 1. Strongly disagree. 2. Disagree. 3. Neutral. 4. Agree. 5. Strongly agree.
So I'd refrain from purchasing something that I really like from a brand if I don't find the website accessible enough for my needs. Let me say
4.
neutral.
Agree. 3. Neutral.
I want to stay in the middle here because if it's something that I really like from a brand, I feel like I'd go out of my own way even and tell somebody maybe to help me in purchasing it.
Mhm.
You know, uh, but basically this is a serious problem. You know, you can just let me imagine somebody who doesn't have a person, you know, they can tell, they can go to for help. Then the person will maybe agree or strongly agree, you know. But for me, maybe I'd say let me just say neutral in this case.
Okay.
Okay.
3. Neutral radio button check 3 of 5. Button unavailable out of frame 20. Now let's imagine that you want to buy a new tablet for work and you go to the following website. Without clicking on anything yet, but feel free to scroll up and down the page, please answer the following. Still keeping in mind that we are 2. What do you like or dislike about this page? What do you like? What, if anything, would you change about this page? When you feel open URL. Button to open URL. Frame clickable open URL link. Untitled Google Chrome yes. Document busy blank.
Okay, so let's pause here for a second,
Live
and if you don't mind going back to the Userlytics tab.
Amazon.com spend less.
Sorry.
Smile more. Skip to
Can you go
main
back to the
content.
Userlytics tab, please? We'll
Banner
leave the
landmark
Amazon one open
navigation
for now.
landmark link Amazon. Hello. Live conversations Userlytics document.
What do
Visited
you
link
think
open
about
URL.
the open URL button?
The open URL button, it's bold. I can see it's
Now let's imagine
there's
open
one here,
URL.
and then
Button,
there's this
open
one here.
URL.
Mhm.
So it's quite easy to see it. You know, it's bold. You know, it's written in capital letters, and then you know, it's in a blue like icon. So I'd say that it's quite easy to locate it if that's what you're asking, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. You can go ahead and click next. We can skip this task.
Button unavailable out of frame 22.
So
Which access? Now feel free to click around this website and still thinking about how accessible it is. Please answer the following. Which, if any, accessibility features do you like seeing here? Which accessibility features are you missing from this website?
So I'm gonna click on the website, which is Amazon.
Okay.
International shopping transition alert. Clickable. Select
So
your
I can
address.
see it. I can
Select
see.
your address.
I can see
Select your address.
there's a search bar here,
Mhm.
which comes in handy, you know, and looking for things quite easily, even for somebody who is visually impaired. Um, there's also an icon here called
All.
all. So
All
am I supposed to
bestsellers.
click on anything,
Father's Day deals.
am I just supposed to navigate
Devices with
it
Alexa.
without
Limited
clicking on
time offer.
anything?
Um, You can feel
Father's
free
Day
to
deal.
navigate. Basically, we're
Buyers
just
with
interested in knowing if there's anything
limited
on this
time
website in
offer.
particular that you find helpful
Uh-huh.
for accessibility purposes, or maybe things that aren't so helpful, maybe things that make it a little bit more difficult for you.
Okay. So
Registry.
let me just scroll downwards and
Tachi Dad.
you see now, like right now, the what is it? My screen reader just told me that this is a techie dad. Um, um,
Style.
and then wait,
Shop all Father's Day.
so shop all Father's Day, and then
Techi Dad.
I just know that this is techie dad. I know it's under the shop all Father's Day, but I don't know what product it is. You know,
Okay.
Style.
so I feel
Style.
like maybe they'd have said what kind of product it was. You know, and then there's fun gifts for
Fun
dad
gifts
here.
for Dad. Outdoors. Outdoor. Fitness. Gamer.
Sports. So now I love this aspect about the website, you know, because I can see that there's fun gifts for dad, and then there's outdoors. You can know that that is maybe some outdoor fits, you know, there's some fitness fits, there's gamer fits for your dad,
Pet,
maybe.
home and kitchen. Hear all
Um,
the best stories. Discover audiobooks on. Hear
there are
all the
even
best stories.
audiobooks, something
Discover
that
audiobooks on Audible.
maybe I can download, or somebody who's visually impaired can download and just listen to, instead of going through the whole hassle of trying to read books, you know, because it's training. So I also
Right.
love that. Um,
What do you think
Let me
about
scroll
the size
down.
of the font
Echo
that's
Dot.
being used,
Jet.
like under each category?
What?
What do you think about the size of the font being used under each category?
So good points.
Echo Show
I'd also say,
devices.
you see, like here, there's list price. Even
List
me,
price.
somebody who has low
Link
vision,
smart home cameras and doorbells.
I'm kind of struggling to,
Link
you know,
smart
see
home
it.
cameras and
Uh-huh.
doorbells.
You know, so and then it's also like bolded, as again I said, like an issue of bolding and size of the font, you know, is very important to anyone who has problems related to eyesight. So that's what I don't like about them. And then also there's a lot of white, you know, in the website.
Echo Show
Uh-huh.
device.
Maybe they should have maybe put like more colors and something like that.
Okay.
But basically, I find the website quite easy to navigate.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Great. You can go back to the usability tab now, please.
Live conversations. Userly
Go
text
ahead and click
desktop
next.
content shared Google Chrome. Yes. Live. Neck. Button unavailable.
so
1. Find a tablet to purchase from any brand and model you like. Find a tab. Please try not to use the search function and stop once you are in the tablet product page. Find a tablet to purchase from any brand.
okay.
International
So
shopping
I
transition alert
see.
dialog. We're showing you items that ship to Bemidji 56,600. Father's Day deals.
I see what they've done there.
Devices with Alexa.
So I'm not supposed to
Limited
use
time offer.
the search button, but I'll also try to, let me say,
Father's
don't
Day
change.
deals.
Mm-hmm.
Father's Day deals.
Let me just try.
Devices with Alexa.
If I was
Limited time
I
offer.
was new to the website,
Clickable
this
banner
is what I would have
landmark
done.
navigate.
Mm-hmm.
And click on it,
Open menu button. Close menu link.
and then move. Why is my screen reader not reading this?
Digital content and devices. Digital content and devices.
So
Amazon Music.
uh-huh,
Echo and Fire tablets.
Fire tablets
Fire
maybe.
tablets.
And then I'd click on it. I'll click on this arrow here,
List with 33 items. Fire tablets visited link.
and then what is it? Let me just try and find like see all Fire tablets.
List with 24 items. See all Fire tablets link. Amazon.com. Fire tablets. Amazon devices and accessories. Skip to main content. Banner landmark navigation landmark link Amazon. Hello. Select
So let me maybe just
Fire HD 10. Clickable list with 10 items. Fire HD 10 graphic link. Document busy.
what's happening? Why is it not opening? So let me go back.
Amazon. All new Fire 7. Fire HD 8. Clickable list with 10 items. Fire HD 8.
So
Fire
it has
HD 8
opened,
tablet.
and then
HD display. 32 GB.
I'd say add to
Latest model.
cart.
2020 release.
But this
Designed for
process is
portable
quite,
entertainment.
I feel
Black.
like right now when I'm looking at the website, it's quite clustered. There's so much things that something like you save 40, like
44%.
I wouldn't be interested in how much money I'm saving. Really, I just want to find an easier process to just buy the whole tablet. I feel
Amazon.com.
like it's
Fire
clustered.
HD 8 tablet. 8 HD display.
There's a thousand
32
answered
GB.
questions. Like, why should they
1000
put
plus
this
answered
here?
questions.
I don't know if you're understanding, sir, but that's just my opinion.
Uh-huh. You just feel like
So
there's
I'd just come here and say add to cart or buy now.
Fire HD 8 tablet. 8 HD display. 32 GB. Latest model. 2020 release. Designed for portable entertainment. Black.
Is it okay, or I still have to
Yeah,
go through the process?
you're good. You can go back to the user tab now.
Live conversations usability document. Out of frame 3039.
So I'll say next.
Yes, go ahead and do that, please.
Next. Frame clickable button unavailable. Out of frame 30. Now that you are on the product detail page and still thinking about accessibility features,
Yeah, you don't need to.
please
You
answer
don't need
the
to
following.
listen to all that.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So yes, Seth, we're pretty much we pretty much like are done with the session. Like I mentioned before, the goal really is to just see if our platform is accessible, and if not, if there's anything that we can change about it to make it more accessible for people with low vision or other visual impairments. So with that said, I don't have any further questions for you, but do you have any final thoughts or any questions for me before we sign off today?
Maybe I'd say that does Amazon have like somewhere where maybe you can find like help for keyboard shortcuts where you can just know where to find them.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and then also, as I mentioned earlier, in task 11, the fact that like Migo was quite easy, but now when I was in the final steps, I felt like that that step, the website at that point was quite clustered. It had a lot of things which were quite unnecessary for me. So I felt like if maybe they clear like some of the stuff and just put an easier way to just find and buy something, like during the final steps,
Yeah.
that will be quite will come quite in handy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cool.
cool.
All right. Anything else you wanted to share before we wrap things up?
I'd say that what is it? The the web
Mm-hmm.
should be accessed by everyone. Everyone should have equal chances and equal opportunities to access the web. Right now
Yeah.
the web has grown. It is not just like the web in 2007 and 2008. People make money out of it. So I feel like all people should be given equal chances to benefit out of it. And the rest is still not very. We haven't quite finished the rest, in the development of websites that are
Yeah.
accessible by everyone.
Yeah.
But I feel like what you guys are doing is quite nice, man.
That's very well said. Thank you for that.
Okay.
And yeah, thank you so much for your great feedback. It's been very helpful. And I'm going to share this with the rest of my team and see if we can make at least our platform more accessible, so that clients who use our platform can help make their websites more accessible. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. The pleasure is mine.
Cool. All right. Well, I hope you have a good rest of your day, Yaseth. And take care.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.